Good morning, you guys. It is a beautiful day. I garden in zone 8A. Welcome to my channel. Basically, it's just simple gardening, what I do in my garden. It is a hot and humid day today, so I'm going to do this fairly quickly, I hope. I am going to propagate some of my coneflower right here. There are several methods that you can do to propagate. You can either do it by division, which, you see this big clump here. You can go in and look at it and see how it has clumps of semi-individual. So you can take it apart, dig it up, take it apart, and then split it in half, and then just do that by division. So you divide the root ball in half, basically. I'm going to do an easier method, which this one you won't probably see until springtime of next year. This is probably one of my prettiest coneflower. Let's see it. It's big and beautiful. It's more of a hot pink color. I have different variety in here. There's another one over here. This one, you can see the leaf. I don't know all the names of it. I just know that they're coneflower, the basic names. But the variety, I don't know, because most of these I propagate either from seed or by cutting. I just buy one plant, and then from there I divide it that way. But see, this one, the habit is a little bit more different. It has a full ball cone over here, and then the leaf, the flowering petals lean more downward, whereas this one is more outward. Aren't they beautiful though? But these ones are about spent over here. I have a couple of them that are about spent. So what I'll do is I'll come in here, take one that I know has been pretty much blackened, because that means to me it's ready. I see the little seeds that are coming out. You can see probably the birds were in it. This one over here. Is it focusing? I don't know if it's focusing or not. And then over this one it looks like it's still intact. So basically what I'm going to do is go in with my pruning shears. Sorry, trying to do this with one-handed. I might have to put this down. Yeah, let me back up a little bit. So you would go in, cut basically where a new node is down here, so it could send out another bud, hopefully. So I'm going to get one or two of them, and this is how you propagate from seed. Now you can hold these over springtime, and then, well, actually in the winter time, and then plant them, and then when the seed germinates, then you can go and plant them. But I don't go through all of that. I just cut them. And then once I have a bundle like this, oh, I cut a little flower right there. Can you see it? Cut a little flower on that one. So I have all of these. And then you take it to where you want to sow the seed, which I think I did some over here already up to the hilltop. So I'm going to take it over here. And I think I'm going to put some along here. I was doing some pruning and didn't get a chance to really clean up all my pruning and cutting. So I want to do it as close as possible. Okay, so you have all the seeds are in here, and the seed is not the prickly part. Let me see if I can show you a better picture. So if you go like this against the grain, and I recommend using gloves because the pricklies do hurt and they're very sharp. So I recommend wearing gloves. So the seed is not the prickly part. The seed is, hang on a second, let me put that down. Oh, I blew most of it off of my hand trying to get the black stuff off. So the seed is the tan looking stuff. This is a seed. Can you see him? So that's the seed, and it's actually embedded. If you look, it's actually embedded within the prickly stuff. See it? When you go like this, it all comes out. So that's where the seed is located. So it's really prickly. I do recommend wearing gloves. So, whoops. So when you sprinkle them, the seed comes out. I don't know how the birds gets into them, but because it's really sharp. See? So the prickly stuff is just housing for the seeds. And you don't, when you're propagating the seed like the way I am. So those are all seeds. So what I do is I just sprinkle it all over my mulch. And I don't know if it's because where I garden, of course, it does help. We get some cooler weather, but not enough to really damage them. And then in the springtime, they come up. And then I transplant them to wherever I want to. So basically, if you don't have gloves, I recommend you take 2. And then you kind of just rub it against each other. And then that way, ow. See, this is what happens. Look at how deep that got in my finger. Can you see it? So it is extremely sharp, like I said, which is why I recommend at least 1 pair of gloves so you can kind of work with it. But if you don't have gloves, that's all right. Just put 2 together, do this method. But gloves is by far the best method to doing this. You just sprinkle the seeds around, let it float around. I mean, but in nature, that's what it does anyways, you know. So I'm going to move some over here. They like full sun, and as you can see, it's about midday. I've got part shade over here, part sun over here, but in the afternoon, this area will get more sun. Gonna take some up on the hilltop over there and sprinkle it over there. So here's with gloves. It's much easier with gloves. You can just kind of do this, sprinkle it around all over your mulch. And that's basically all I do with my seed. I know a lot of people germinate them inside the house and then they plant them outside. But Mother Nature does a good job on her own propagating them, so I don't really... I mean, I've had enough growth in them. Like here are some of them that I transplanted. You can see smaller growth on them. So this one actually has a flower in the center. See it? Looking forward to see what that looks like. So I have a couple of them planted around. Now another method you can do, which I'll do sometimes. I do more, ooh, sorry, camera shake right there. I do more propagation also by cutting. I'm going to show you how to take a cutting. And then basically you just stick it into It might be easier just to do with one that you can actually see and it's not so bushy. Sorry, I'm trying to get a good angle here. I'm gonna aim the camera angle down a little so you can see what I'm doing. Basically, when you take a cutting, you want to make sure you get a good node in there. So I usually go down pretty low. Let me see. There's one here. So here's a cutting that you can take. Make sure you cut it in between a node. Make sure you keep a node. A node is where the leaf sets are. And then as you can see here, something else is going to grow from it. And that's what you need, is a big node right there. So you can strip that, stick it into the dirt, and then that's where the concentrated hormones are that will help to generate the roots. It's not always 100% successful, but the more cutting you take, the more chance you get. This one's a little bit, I think I'm gonna go for another one. Let's see, what about this one? Trying to find a good one. I've got weeds everywhere, you guys. Sorry, this is not such a straight hill. Okay, let me see. Maybe I can find another one over here. Xena, come back. Come on, Xena. That's my dog, Xena. Xena! Let me see if I have another one that has more of a flatter surface so I can do another cutting. Let's do this one. Gotta get the right angle. Xena! And my dog likes to run off on me. Gotta keep track of her. Oh, see? This is my front yard. I'm not sure if I want to take a cutting from here. Okay, not there. Maybe over here. So with this one over here, I trimmed it back. And I am gonna see where's a good node to take. There's a good one. This is probably not a good one. I just accidentally broke it up. Because you need a node so you can strip and stick it in, and then you need some kind of 1 or 2 partial leaf for photosynthesis while it's busy doing its thing. Now another method, wait, let me get another cutting to show you first before I go to the next method. Okay, here's one here. So I got a set of nodes right here. I can strip that and then stick it in the ground, and then it has leaves over there to grow. Another method you can do is by, well, so if you come down here, see how you see all these little shoots that are coming out from the ground? So you can basically, oh, hang on. Let me take it off of the stand, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get a good angle. Sometimes it's hard. Okay, you see all these little tiny nodes, little shoots coming out? You can go in, like taking this nodes here. Oh, the leaves are in the way. This is a node right here. Let me see if I can go in there and get it and strip it. So you would break it off, zooming in right there, and then you have this part here. See how you have this part, then right here is a concentrated section. Just take off some of the leaf, put it into the ground. This one is more of a viable cut because it's right at the root stem. So you can also do that. Oh, I'm sweating like crazy. There's a couple more over here. And by division, you know, they get really big. It's easy to do division. Here's another one here. I don't know. It might be too dark to see. So if you go into the rootstock area, you can see a whole bunch of them. Like there's one here that you can take out. And it won't kill the plant, so you don't have to worry about that. And then I'm going to take you in the back where my propagation area is. Sorry, I'm putting it back onto this stand. Again, doing all this by hand manually. Take all my cuttings with me. I am sweating like crazy. Okay, in the shade for 2 seconds, you guys. All right, into the back. Come on, Zena. Into the back to my makeshift simple propagation area, which is right here. Pretty simple. Mainly all of these are plastic containers that I buy food in. And then as long as they have holes, I use them. So here are some that I've rooted, that I've taken. Some over here, hang on. Some are successful, some are not. Like, sorry, I had to take it off the stand. So how some of them will take, see right where the nodes is, this is where a leaf would have been. It sends out new shoots. Some are not working, so it's not always 100% success rate. And I'm using sand over here as my medium. Over here I'm using a little bit of peat moss and soil. Over here I am using dirt, and then I mixed in with like a 50-60% perlite, so there's a lot of perlite in here, which I think it's a lot better. I garden in zone 8A in Georgia, and it's really hot and humid. So in the dead of summer, even with the soil, it's almost too damp because the humid keeps the moisture in the soil. In the winter time, when I propagate, it's okay to use the soil because, you know, it doesn't get that humid. But in the summertime, I find that a lot of times it's almost too humid, even in the sand, and it'll rot it out. Like this one, you can see it rotted. But that's not to say that every single stem will rot out. Like this one over here is propagating. I mean, it's growing, sending up new shoots, is doing a good job. And then one next to it may not do so good. So sometimes it's just luck of the draw. The ones will survive, the ones that don't. Now these ones are coneflower that I've done by propagation. So those ones are not the cutting from the stem part right here, but it's more of these ones that you go from the base, and you get a little bit of that, the bottom base. I'm trying to zoom in, trying to make it focus. And then that way it roots a lot easier. I just got to put it back on the stand. Give me a second because I cannot do this one-handed. Hang on. Sorry. Alrighty. Okay, so I strip a little bit of the leaves. Give it a little extra. You see it? And it doesn't need all the leaf. And then we're gonna just make a hole with our finger. Just stick it in there. Pat it down. Voila! That's all it takes. Now here's a cutting you can do. Cuttings are alright. The method is pretty simple and easy. You strip it from there. And then take your shears. Cut it right here. Like right underneath the node, just by a little bit. And then you just stick it in the soil. And from where that node is, that's where the root should form. This is the one you can't do because technically you need it to be where the nodes is to stick it in the ground to where the root is. And then you need something up here, another set, so that it would send up the shoots and grow. So that one's not viable. This one is viable. You just need to make sure you take off the flower. So right here, you strip this on both sides. And then I'm actually going to just keep the 2 sets of leaves, 3 actually, 1, 2, 3. Stick it down in the ground, in the soil. Tap it around a little bit. Even though the soil is a little bit moist, I'm going to give it a little bit more water just to help settle in everything. And that's all it is, you guys. Now I want to show you, I mean, it's not always 100% successful. I'm propagating citronal right here, since they're supposed to help keep mosquitoes. So I bought one big plant, and then from then I just basically did the same thing. Take a cut where the nodes are, stick the node into the soil with a little bit of leaf. Now I did over here with lavender, and it looks like unsuccessful because I think it was too wet for lavender. Lavender likes it a little bit dry, and I think with all the moisture retention, like this one had roots, you can see, like right there, and then it looks like it got too wet for it. Yeah, it got too wet and then it just died off. You can see here some of them is okay. This is a moth. This here is not a moth. That one is a butterfly bush that I'm propagating. And then over here I've got some weed in here that somehow magically appeared. I got some camellia cuttings. Camellia cutting is by far the hardest. Over here I have a Mayor's lemon cutting. Look at it. I put this in here probably a couple months back. I haven't been able to be successful at Mayor's lemon cutting, but that one looks like it's doing good. I mean, it's sending up new shoots, so I'm leaving that in there. I'm not going to disturb it now and look at the root ball, but it seems to be happy. All the other ones I've done just basically died off within a week or two, but that one seems to be doing good. So that's a Mayor's lemon right there, cutting. I have a lot of hydrangeas in here. And then down here, don't forget you guys, propagating tomato is probably one of the easiest things to do. So I have a couple of tomatoes and then I decided I want more, so I'm propagating some more. Over here I have, this is hardy hibiscus, Midnight Marvel. I love it, so I usually take cutting from it. As you can see, it's doing well, sending up new shoots since I last did it, but there's some kind of caterpillar or bug that's eating the leaves, so I need to come in and treat that. This over here is oh gosh, I can't remember the name of it now. Okay, I just had a brain fart. I'll come back to it, but it propagates really well. What are you? I can't quite remember. Sometimes I have brain fart because trying to learn all these different variety of flowers and plants. I just know what I like. Roses I'm doing over here in 100% perlite. It seems to be working. I've had a lot of root rot because the soil is just too wet. So over here it looks like I've gotten some success. This one's producing new growth. This one's producing new growth right there. You see it? On the little node, it has new growth right there. And it's, like I said, not when you do it by cutting, I don't get 100% success. I know some people do. I don't. And then I have camellia over here. So they seem to be doing good, but these guys have been in here forever. They are slow to take root. I've only been able to successfully propagate, I think, 3 that I've planted out into the ground, and they grow slow as well. But these ones seems to be doing well because they're sending up new little buds, which then turns into new leaves. So I'm just going to leave it in there probably until the fall time and then check it out. So that's it, you guys. Simple, easy way to get some more plants to propagate. You guys can do it. I'm new at this and I've had some success. It's not always 100% success, but hey, I'm getting new flowers, so that's all I care about. Look at this. See, these are not successful. They just don't like it, and some plants don't like it. Some just don't want to be propagated, and some will take, some won't. I don't know why the difference between these hydrangea. I mean, the medium does help. I transferred them in here because they were actually in soil, and I think they were too wet and moist for them. So that's why I transfer them, and they don't look like they're going to rebound. But over here, I have them in soil, and they seem to be doing fine. This one is not. It looks like it's drooping. But that one looks like it's doing fine. A couple other ones are doing fine. So just find the medium that works for you guys. I find because of the humidity, perlite works best in the summertime because it retains some moisture, but not enough that it would rot out the roots and the stem. So stem rot is definitely an issue. But as soon as it gets fallish to winter, then I go back to the soil because it helps to retain the moisture, and it's not so humid, so the moisture doesn't sit. I hope this video helps you guys. I'm still learning as I go. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys have a great, wonderful day. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.